No matter how much you dislike the media, I guarantee you don't hate them enough. The media is pulling out all the stops. They are doing everything they can to stop Trump, to take Trump down, because they know he's beginning to run away with this thing. So earlier today, 3 hours ago, The Atlantic published this piece, Trump, I Need the Kind of Generals That Hitler Had, by Jeffrey Goldberg. Now, this is the kind of journalism we've come to expect from the left. They call Trump Hitler, they call him a fascist, a dictator, all the things, that's not a surprise. But this piece is filled with verifiably false statements, false claims, just lies. I mean, this is honestly probably the worst case of media malpractice I've seen this year, and even though it was just published 3 hours ago, this is going viral. It's one of the Atlantic's hottest stories of the day, and the worst part is that it's not just this story on The Atlantic. It's the fact that other news organizations pick up on the story. They write stories based on the story, and it pushes these lies there out further. So Mediaite, which is sort of the Drudge Report for journalists. That's where a lot of journalists go to get their stories, to figure out what's trending. Mediaite actually ran a headline based on this story. Trump reportedly raged at American soldiers' funeral bill. Quote, it doesn't cost $60,000 to bury an effing Mexican. That's apparently what Trump is accused of saying, according to the Atlantic article. And that article on Mediaite was only published 1 hour ago, and it's already, I just checked their stats, it's already their second highest engaged article of the day. I mean, this story is gaining traction fast, and it's all based of that initial Atlantic article. So in order to understand the gravity of this lie, we have to go backwards a few years. So when Trump was president, there was this horrific incident involving a young soldier named Vanessa Guillen. She was based on Fort Hood. And what happened is that Vanessa Guillen was beaten to death. A fellow soldier and his girlfriend beat Vanessa to death. They then dismembered her body, burned it, and dumped it in the river. Now, fortunately, her body was recovered, so her family was able to get closure. And when Trump found out about this, he was horrified. And so what he did was he invited the family to the White House. He offered to pay for their funeral, for her funeral, if they didn't have the financial resources to do so. He promised an investigation. In fact, here's footage of Trump inviting them to the White House and just really being personable and being supportive of this horrific thing that this family has gone through.
There's a baby that was murdered. They threw him. It's just hard to say. An innocent life of child was thrown from the barracks room all the way from the top of the building to the floor. And look, it happened on a military base, and an innocent child died. Why? Why is that happening? They have to be investigated.
So was this at Fort Hood also?
I believe Fort Hood.
When would you like to have the funeral? When?
As soon as possible.
As soon as possible, I agree. As soon as possible with the funeral. We'll make sure, we make sure that happens.
Ya,
Okay,
es que
please?
tienen que entregármela ya. Ya porque
Where will you have the
mal.
funeral? Do you know?
Houston.
In Houston?
Ya,
And if I can help you out with the funeral, I'll help you out. I'll help you out financially. I'll help you.
I think the military maybe can taking care of it.
Good. They'll do military. That's good. If you need help, I'll help you out.
Thank you, President.
Okay. If they need something, we'll take care. We'll make sure she is very respected.
So all of this happened several years ago. There were no controversies, no issues, until today, when The Atlantic published this. So Trump was in a meeting and he asked, quote, did they bill us for the funeral? What did it cost? According to attendees and to contemporaneous notes of the meeting taken by a participant, an aide answered, yes, we received a bill. The funeral cost $60,000. Trump became angry. It doesn't cost $60,000 to bury a effing Mexican. He turned his head to his chief of staff, Mark Meadows, and issued an order, don't pay it. Later that day, he was still agitated. Can you believe it? He said, according to a witness. Effing people trying to rip me off. Now, obviously, if that were true, that would just not look good on Trump. That would be a huge blow to not just his campaign, but his character. But it appears it's not true at all. Surprise, surprise. But the worst part is that by all publicly available evidence. The Atlantic actually knew that this was false before they published it. Now, before I get into that evidence, I want to let you know that Vanessa Guillen's sister, Mayra Guillen, has actually spoken out against this piece. So according to her, she posted on X, my sister's death was never meant to be politicized, unbelievable. And then you'll notice before that she posted, so she retweeted The Atlantic and then she posted, wow, I don't appreciate how you are exploiting my sister's death for politics, hurtful and disrespectful to the important changes she made for service members. President Donald Trump did nothing but show respect to my family and Vanessa. In fact, I voted for President Trump today. So let me just clarify. If Trump truly didn't pay the bill, if he truly said that, if he truly was such a monster, do you really think that Mayra Guillen would have posted that? Do you really think that she would have voted for Trump today? She probably would have voted for Kamala Harris or not voted at all if this story is indeed true. But that's not all. Mark Meadows himself, who is quoted in the piece, has also issued a statement, and you'll notice at the very top, Mayra Guillen also reposted this. I was in the discussion featured in The Atlantic's latest hit piece against President Trump. Let me say this. Any suggestion that President Trump disparaged Ms. Guillen or refused to pay for her funeral expenses is absolutely false. He was nothing but kind, gracious, and wanted to make sure that the military and the U.S. government did right by Vanessa Guillen and her family. And as if all of that isn't bad enough, there's even more. Ben Williamson, the former senior White House communications advisor, published this on X. On the left, I sent The Atlantic a comment saying President Trump, quote, absolutely did not say that, referring to the alleged comments about Miss Guillen they printed. On the right-hand side, The Atlantic translated that comment to, quote, didn't hear Trump say it. So here is the full-sized image of this text that Ben Williamson sent. Ben Williamson, spokesperson for Mark Meadows, quote, President Trump absolutely did not say that. He was nothing but kind, gracious, and wanting to make sure that the military and U.S. government did right by Gloria Guillen and her daughter, Vanessa Guillen. As for the allegation that he told me to refuse payment, that is not true. Quote, that is not true. Ben Williamson, spokesperson for Mark Meadows. So they are flat out denying it. They're not saying they haven't heard it, because when you say you haven't heard it, that is suggesting that it did happen, but you just weren't there in the vicinity. They are saying it did not happen. He did not say this is not an issue. This is fake news. This is a fake story. But what did The Atlantic publish? The Atlantic published, quote, a spokesperson for Meadows who denied having heard Trump make the statement. So there you have it. The Atlantic is pretending that this actually happened. They're pretending that, these people, Mark Meadows, his assistant, the people in the room, they just didn't hear it, but there is evidence out there somewhere that Trump actually said and did these horrible things. What they are trying to do clearly is Trump has the momentum. They're trying to pull out all the stops. They're trying to derail their train. They're trying to do anything they can to stop Trump's momentum. And if that includes making up lies, if that includes disparaging his character, if that includes just flat out ignoring your sources who have now went on social media posting, their exchanges with you, and having the victim's sister speak out about this and saying that she's voted for Trump, like I said at the very start of the video, no matter how much you dislike the media, you don't hate them enough. I mean, I saw this and there is one thing. I mean, there are a few things. And by a few, I don't mean a lot, but more. This is one of the few things that sets me off from 0 to 100. Not just even about Trump, but it is dishonesty. I mean, and that's why whenever I make mistakes or whenever I do something wrong, I try to be forthright with y'all, because integrity and character are everything to me. Like this right here, if The Atlantic doesn't do a retraction, I hope they go out of business. I hope their traffic just tanks. I mean, this is, I can't imagine reaching out to a source, having your source tell you the truth, and then somehow having the galls and the stones to twist that. I can't imagine it. What kind of world you must live in. And this is why, the left likes to accuse us of mis and disinformation. And yet it's the mainstream media, it's the old guard that keeps doing this day after day. I mean, I'm demoralized seeing the story. Not demoralized in terms of the campaign, because I think most people can see through the media. I think hopefully as people push back against this story, it'll have minimal impact. But it is sad to see that the media, in its dying last breaths of trying to maintain relevancy, is just getting uglier and nastier. It's really, really disappointing. Now, some of you will find this disappointing. Some of you will find this funny. We're totally going to change subjects. I have a few stories I want to get to before the end of the video. So Trump was at McDonald's this weekend, working one, in the suburbs of Pittsburgh. Was it Pittsburgh or Philadelphia? I can't remember. So much went on this weekend. But the CDC... I can't even... Is it coincident? I'm just going to post this, and then you tell me, is this coincidence or election interference? And the CDC made this, by the way. Food safety alert. E. coli outbreak linked to McDonald's quarter pounder hamburgers. Yup. And then they have a link there on this infographic, foodborne outbreaks. Of course, there's an E. coli outbreak at McDonald's just 2 days after Trump does a campaign stunt at McDonald's. I mean, what are the odds? Really? Coincidence? Let me know. Or election interference. Now, the good news is that Trump is probably going to break the internet this Friday. He has announced, in case you haven't heard yet, he is going on the Joe Rogan podcast, the Joe Rogan Experience, Friday, October 25th. So that is huge. Taylor Swift was apparently trolled at a recent concert, which I absolutely love. So this is outside the venue. Watch the sky. Gotta love it. So the New York Post has a few more details. An apparent Donald Trump supporter trolled Taylor Swift Saturday evening by delivering a message via flyover at the pop star's Miami Gardens concert venue, asking if she was ready for the ex-president to retake the White House. Now, apparently, what was on the sign, Trump 2024, ready for it, Cat Lady, was a play on her 2017 hit, Ready for It, which I don't think I've heard because I do not recognize that song title. I feel sometimes super just out of touch with pop culture. The LA Times has apparently refused to endorse Kamala Harris. They've endorsed pretty much every Democrat candidate in the as far as recent living memory. According to Semaphore, Los Angeles Times won't endorse for president. Now, the editorial board did want to endorse Kamala Harris, but apparently the owner of the paper said, no, we're not doing that. I think the last time he refused to do this was during the primaries for Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren. He said, no, we're not waiting in there. Yeah, things are going great for the Harris campaign, and you know things are going really tough when the media is having to resort. I mean, there's a reason we call them fake news, but I think this story with The Atlantic is just a new low. I mean, can y'all think of anything worse than this? I can't. As always, this is just my commentary, just my analysis, and I'd love to hear your view, your take on it as well in the comments below. Do you think we'll get a retraction on this Atlantic story? Or predictions? Are there going to be defamation lawsuits? Is Trump going to file a lawsuit? Is the Guillen family going to file a lawsuit? I don't know. Just based on the evidence, I feel like there could be grounds here. And I feel like when media intentionally manipulates, when media intentionally deceives, I get that we have a free press, but there has to be consequences to send a message to say, hey, you can have free speech, you can have opinion, but there's a difference between that and then manipulating the masses by being completely dishonest and lying about what your sources actually told you. Because what they published is not what the sources sent The Atlantic. Like I said, just my commentary, just my analysis. And I'd love to hear what you think. If you haven't already, please be sure to give me a thumbs up. I know it's a simple thing to ask, but it really does help me in the algorithm to reach more viewers like you. If you want to meet my sweet little dog who is sleeping and just woke up, I didn't mean to wake you up, baby. As well as my kitty. Be sure to smash that subscribe button. Once I reach 100,000 followers, I will introduce this sweet baby. We're about to go on special time. So good. He's super excited. Yes, to celebrate 100,000 subscribers if and when I'm lucky enough to get there. So many of y'all have been asking to meet the fur babies, and so I think that's how we're going to celebrate. Of course, there will be other things in the video, but for me, that's the main selling point. And I think for a lot of y'all, it is too. Be sure to smash that subscribe button and to check out one of these videos. Stretch it out.